we speak about sanctity of human life. Well, sanctity of human life when it stands against religious considerations, convenience considerations, or other considerations, economic considerations, which is not a simple answer, but still, you may make a clear statement about it. Now, what happens in a fair number of cases in which you have two human lives, or more than one human life, and you have then, they are put in a position, in a situation in which you have to one has to make a decision about what to do when they cannot be simultaneously, you cannot keep the law simultaneously, which means one is clashing with the other. There you have the problem. That is, it is not a contradiction of the first principle. In fact, it stems from it. That here you have two, more than finite directives that clash with each other. Now, how it comes to be in a fair number of cases. One of them is discussed in a very lively way in the Talmud. Two people are crossing the desert. They have a container of water. The container has sufficient water for only one of them to survive. What shall they do? Now, it's a question in which the problem about sanctity of life comes into a questioning. What should be the right answer? Is the answer that they should share the water and die, or that one of them should survive and the other will die? And in that level, in which we are sometimes forced by external circumstances in making choices. Some of these choices are terrible ones for those who make them, but still these choices have to be made. Sometimes you have the means, the possibility of saving one life or only a group of lives, and then you have to make decisions. Who takes precedence? This is not, even in a problem, as I say, one may call it that the sanctity of human life, if not infinite, it is at least a transfinite magnitude. Because of that, it also raises the question, which it has answers, not very simple answers. For example, is the life of two more important than the life of one? And if one has to continue it, should you sacrifice one in order to save two? Now, these are not only abstract. These questions become less than abstract questions. We are faced with them, not just as doctors, but in many extreme situations in real life. And these situations are not only medical situations in which sometimes people have to have the time to think about. And it deals with people are in danger. What are you doing? Then there's again, it's a question, perhaps a secondary, but a question in the same area, in a slightly different way. You have to make a choice. You have a place and a ship only for a limited number of people. You have a place in an airplane that gets from some danger only for a limited number of people. there is only a limited amount of food, water, and so on, and you have to make some kind of, as cruel as it is, of selection. What do you do then? Do you have any kind of measures of measuring importance? Or measuring some kind of a law of precedence? To bring an example, which is not, it is not accepted in the Jewish law, but it is still a part of a system that is thinking about it, because these questions are not particularly Jewish questions, and they have to do only partially with Jewish affairs. They are questions that face any human being, and therefore have to be confronted one way or another. The notion that a ship is sinking, who is saved? Who is put in the safety boat? When you say that women and children are put there first, it is also a terrible statement. Why should women and children be put there first? Why are they better, and why? What are the considerations in calculating value of people? But practically speaking, I have to make some kind of a ruling in real life about what do you do if you have a situation like this. It's a very real situation that happens in so many cases, sometimes in a very tragic way, because there are cases in which people will act spontaneously without giving it any amount of thought, just because of some, let's say, childhood notion, or because an impulse. But when people have time to consider, then they have a way of pondering about it, and giving answers is not very simple. Again, which is something which is, again, a medical ethical question, which is discussed in different ways, again, in the Talmudic literature, that deals with exactly the same problematic that stems from the sanctity of human life, and that is basically, who is more valuable? Should you make any consideration of value? And such considerations are double ones. One of them is my own consideration. I have a chance of saving my own life on the expense of some other life. It happens. Am I permitted to do so? Am I not transgressing the same basic principle